loans from Page Financials. Page Financials, taking you further.
Mic stop. Studio live. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. You're most welcome to today's edition of Freshly Pressed 981 with Valentine Ohu.
And I am Myro Essay. Good morning and thank you for joining us.
Today on the show, we have our analyst, Devo Okorie. Morning, Devo. How are you today?
Barkade Sala Lagos. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning.
Cool. Where is the ram meat?
Exactly. exactly.
Hashtag,
People, you're so poignant on your questions. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
hashtag, where's the rabbit?
Yes.
Devo, you look like a baseball player today. Do you play baseball?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Won a few championships.
All right, excellent. Okay, then if you'd like to see Devo in his baseball gear, then you need to go onto our YouTube channel, Smooth 981 FM Lagos, to be a part of the show. You can watch what's happening in the studio as well as send in your comments using the chat box option to send them in.
That's right. WhatsApp number is 0809-444-0981. Let's start with this first story from Premium Times, Divo. Why Sunday Igboho cannot be extradited. Let's recall that Mr. Igboho was led or has led rallies in Ondo, Ekiti, Osun, Oyo, and Ogun states. He also threatened to hold a rally in Lagos on July 3rd, but his home was invaded barely 72 hours before that planned rally. Now, the lawyer that said or has said that Igbo cannot be extradited to Nigeria is the senior advocate of Nigeria. He has argued that the extradition treaty of 1984 between Togo, Nigeria, Ghana, and Republic of Benin will not allow that to happen. But what are your thoughts?
Well, he raises 3 points. I'd like to know whether those points are valid or tenable. One, he said we're party to a treaty between Togo, Nigeria, Ghana, and Republic of Benin, which excludes political fugitives for extradition. And it states that the fugitive will not, if the fugitive will not get justice because of discrimination or undue delay in prosecution in the host country should not release the fugitive. Now, under the African Charter of Human Rights, People's Rights, to which 4 countries are signatories. I'm reading this so that people understand what this extradition or the treaty is all about.
Yeah.
But, at some point in life, you start to get real. When last or since when did our government begin to follow the rules or comply with external treaties or internal? They'll slap us back that we're a sovereign nation. So what's the point here? What's really the point? The lawyer did go on and say that he won't get justice because given the manner and the approach that those who were arrested at his house after 21 days have not gotten access to their lawyers, that he may be killed also, and that he was arrested in Cotonou with his wife, who is a German citizen, and they're asking the German administration to rise up and curb Nigeria's impunity for refusing the application for extradition, which is before the ICC. It's funny how we all rush to foreign countries after agitating that we want our own nations. You should have started there from the beginning. But the truth is, I'm tired of this issue because it shows a lot of weakness, cracks in our society. Because what's this penchant and love for freedom fighters? You have Igbo Ho, who was pushing for the Yoruba nation, the Oduduwa nation. Remember, this also came on the heels of when he, in a sort-style manner, evicted or chased out the Fulani settlers in parts of Ibarakwa and Oyo State. You know how much commotion that caused on the basis that there were some herdsmen attacks on some farmers and people within some of those settlements. Yeah. And that has led to this agitation, which many people quietly have supported, but in the open, they haven't said anything about. Same story with Kanu, who had been pushing for the Biafra nation from foreign locations, even setting up the Eastern Security Network, which was supposed to protect his people, the Igbo people, from the attacks of the herdsmen likewise. Now, I'm not saying any of these people are wrong. However, why are we not able to drive our desires, drive our collective ways of living in the right way? Why do we choose these defective arrangements? You know, why don't we use the power of our numbers to be able to get what we want? Why do we always hide behind whoever is the next? I mean, everybody hides behind. I remember in the days that the unknown men or the unknown gunmen were making their attacks, even though it was wrong because it was arson. However, there was this general appeal that they were getting back at the government that we didn't like. No, that is not how to run things. You can already see that this government that knows how to catch the Namdis and the Igbohos cannot catch a simple bandit. You can see the situation you find yourselves in. So do the needful. Because this is not how we're meant to correct society. Not at all. It's far from it.
So
and all the elites would disappear whenever government takes action.
how do you suggest? What do you suggest would be the better approach instead of just calling for protest or leading rallies? What would be the better approach?
I just told you that why do we choose to deny, refuse to use the power of our numbers
I mean,
and get our will brought to book?
Sunday Boy had numbers. He has numbers. Nnamdi Kanu has
Like
numbers.
what happened when the southwestern states attempted to introduce Amotekun? What was the position of the federal government?
So we're against it.
They were against it. Why? It wasn't because they felt that it was bad. They simply said, you have not passed through legislation.
Exactly.
And they had to, with their numbers, all go to their various individual state assemblies and pass the law. In my view, even that step was defective because what do you call them? Amotekun is an ancillary form of security. You haven't really hit the nail on the head. You need state police. You need proper police to be out there, and not
proper structure.
yes, not hunters who who don't even have weapons to fight people who are coming with AK-47 and jet. What happened the other day? They brought down a jet. That's what you need.
So from Prince on WhatsApp, he's asking if Sunday Igboho can be classified as a political refugee.
Or fugitive.
Also a fugitive.
You see, this is where the problem starts again.
Because if he falls
Under
under that
no-
category, according to that treaty, he's not supposed to be extradited.
Under no book in this country can you show where. Okay, explain to me which political organization does Sunday Igboho represent.
That's where the question comes from, really.
You see where all these
Where's
loopholes,
his alliance?
where all these loopholes begin to come in.
Well, he may not belong to a particular political party, but he is clearly against in from his actions.
Because he's one Nigerian and he's
Yeah.
entitled to his views.
Yes, of course.
So I am asking Nigerians to stop these defective means and come out in your numbers and demand to get what you desire.
With the right structure in place, yes? And the right approach, is what you say. Thank you so much for that. Devo, let's move on to this next story from the Vanguard newspaper. Zamfara bandits unconditionally release 100 persons after 42 days. A lot of questions surrounding this story. The allusions therein, which also has a confirmation from the State Commissioner of Police, CP Hussaini Rabiu, saying that the command, in collaboration with State Ministry of Security and Home Affairs, secured the unconditional release of victims. While it's heartening to hear that 100 people have been released after 42 days in captivity, and I mean, needless to say, the joy that will be experienced by the family and relatives, but also looking at the measures put in place to secure their release. I mean, beyond just alluding credits to the police or the bandits or whoever it is secured that release, what are your thoughts on this story regarding the standpoint of the government against paying of ransoms and the kidnappings that haven't really abated so far?
There was a song Fela sang, I'm trying to remember it, that has to deal with the government magic. They don't come again. This is just a report from the police, actually from the State Commissioner of Police, CP Hussein Rabiu, who said in his collaboration with the State Ministry of Security and Home Affairs, they secured the unconditional release of the victims. These people were abducted on on the 8th of June, and since then they're just getting released. And this was a small village that included a lot of females, majority of them were nursing mothers, males and children. Now, in this abduction, what he's saying is that they were released without ransom, without any financial or material gain. Who is fooling who? At this level of bad insecurity, of decrepit, completely failed insecurity, Zamfara that's attacked almost on a weekly basis, of which a few get to the media. You want to tell me that all you can tell us is that they were released unconditionally? No, at this point, and this is my issue with the MBC position in the reform of that law, you need to be giving us facts and figures. You need to be telling us how you've been able to achieve this.
Because the use of kinetic or non-kinetic approach doesn't really say much.
I'm going there. I'm going there. You need to be giving us info so that we appraise ourselves, or we brace up for how to carry on to ensure that we have the security that we need for our citizens. Now, he went on to say that the police have assured kinetic and non-kinetic approaches. And to that end, and this is where I dropped the mic, the police are warning recalcitrant bandits to renounce criminality and embrace peace or face the full wrath of the law. Now, before I drop my mic, first question. Why are we warning bandits?
11 years after, we're still warning.
Since when the police, who are the enforcers of the law, warning bandits?
And you find in some other headlines they're advising them.
I thought I was reading. I thought I was reading double. Secondly, they said they'll face the full wrath of the law. I want to see where the full wrath of the law is carried out. I've not seen that because they've been abducting. Zamfara, Kaduna are known for its full. I mean, that was El Rufai's position. Take these people out. I don't understand what the full wrath of the law means anymore.
So we're still speaking unless
because it's like they're begging. You're warning bandits, people who they're criminals. They've broken the law already, and then what you're telling me is that you're warning them. Val, I don't know. There's a problem in this story.
Yeah.
This story is not complete. This story smacks our intelligence.
It's a gaping hole.
No.
There's a gaping hole there.
No. So why are people in prison now? If all we do is those who kidnap, all they'll do, they'll warn them.
The Punch newspaper has this next story that we'll look into about refineries and the possibility of us seeing some process, being experienced in that sector from September this year. Actually, September of 2022, pardon me. The $1.5 billion rehabilitation of Port Harcourt refinery, a refining company, has commenced in full, and part of the facility will start delivering products or finished products by September of next year, according to the NNPC. Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation spoke through its public affairs division, headed by Kenny Obateru, assuring Nigerians that some parts of the facility will start delivering from that date or the timeline. Divo, what are your thoughts in terms of the contract signed that I recall was established some months ago, and the timeline that's being followed till next year? In terms of
it's like there's juju in all these stories today. Because
facts.
No, because you see, this is still what they call government magic. You come out and say things, and at the end of the day, that's not what really is happening.
Well, what's your position on the
that's what I'm saying. Because this claim that the refinery will produce within 18 months, that's by September next year. I think
that's beyond September, because if 18 months is what, 12.
You see, I was waiting for that. I set you up and you fell for it.
No, it's not.
Okay,
hold on now.
Stated clearly, exactly as Ayo said.
Yes, that's my point. That's my.
While that is the projection,
Wait now.
NMPC
NMPC is talking, and they said that they would finish between 18 to 44 months.
Yes.
44 months is equal to like 4 years.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ayo. You see, you're the one that went to school here, not NMPC. No,
No,
I don't know
NMPC.
anymore because NMPC is now trying to the more you see, the less you understand.
No, that's not it.
It is it.
It's not.
Let me
This was the
Okay,
projection.
let me continue. We've heard this severally. Turnaround maintenance severally. Billions have gone down. Each administration has its own turnaround maintenance initiatives, with billions being lost, and we don't see one drop, 1 liter of refined product coming out of these. So it's a safe position not to believe NMPC. You want to argue with me on that?
No.
It's a safe position. How much is going down? Let's read again now. Since I didn't go to school, 1.5 billion USD. Oh yeah, times that by market rates.
I've stopped giving myself headache for large sums I see in the
Let's
papers.
say they go through the CBN. I think it's about 400.
400. You
Yes,
see
about 400.
you see the juju I'm referring to. You see where it's coming from? 1.5 billion.
Also remember that it's a private company that has been contracted to carry out this.
Likewise, the other turnaround maintenance opportunities, they were never Nigerians, since we know Sabi.
So your point is you don't trust the government?
Say it again.
I asked the question. What is your
Say it 4 times. Nigerians do not trust the
You,
government.
Divo, do you?
Nigerians do not trust this government. Now, you see, why did we seek for what do you call it? Deregularize it? Because
Deregulation.
you don't waste money anymore. That 1.5 billion could be used in other lost infrastructure that we don't have, school security, helping the police get out of this logjam.
You know, so I would disagree with you on that,
Why?
right? Because we've been crying that, oh, we keep shipping our products outside, we keep exporting it for them to refine, and we lose all our money.
Yes.
Because it's like garbage in, garbage out.
Mhm.
We send all the raw materials there, the raw
Yes.
food there, and we buy it at a hiked price.
Yes.
Or remove subsidy.
Yes.
Or subsidy. Removing the subsidy might
Yes.
make the fuel cost to landing cost to increase to 1,000.
There's one more thing you haven't
But
said.
where's the solution?
The solution
Isn't
is
it the path
so
to the solution
simple.
that we
It's
seek?
you don't even have to think about it, and that's what the fat cats in the National Assembly were wasting time on the PIB. It's called deregulation.
Yes.
Take your hands out of it. Government should remain a regulator while the private business acts as the operators.
That's right.
When they pass the PIB, it gives them, or let's say when they get the harmonized documents, it will allow for deregulation, allows for investments in the downstream sector. Remember, people who had funds refused to invest because you were fixing the price.
Thank you. Well, that is
Alright,
established.
we need
Divo,
to go-
Thank you.
yeah.
It's also worthy of note that NNPC officially signed this contract with Techni Point SPA for the $1.5 billion rehabilitation program of PHRC on April 6th, and parties in agreement announced the commencement of the project. So work has started.
All right, let's go on a break whilst we digest that. When we come back, we take the rest of the stories for this morning. Stay tuned here on Smooth 98.1.
Love life.
I'm laughing because
Uh,
you just echoed, you repeated.
I don't get time for these
because,
stories.
Brutus took the story this morning, and that's how he just started. And I don't believe I don't trust government. That it's nonsense. It's nonsense, and they keep.
It's election money.
Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing.
How can you say that PH refinery is not working?
In September of
So the
2022.
discrepancy was saying, which Rotus pointed out was that they said 18 months. 18
18
months
months is
takes
not
us
7
into
months.
2023.
She's Adenike.
Yes.
And
And
she's
she's Unity.
Yeah.
And when we're together, we listen to
And we really appreciate your listening pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation. Divo Kore is our analyst in the studio. It's 12 minutes before 8 o'clock, and we have more stories to go through. The next one from Premium Times, but before that, a quick message.
All right, so AGK from Ogba says, this NNPC news of producing fuel in 18 to 44 months is a true story. I believe the government will come true and shame the doubting Thomas in us, just like they produced fuel during Ibe Kachiku's term as Minister of State for Petroleum.
Okay. And we have more messages on YouTube. Please keep sending those and subscribe to the channel. Premium Times has a story on 7 more people dying out of cholera in Enugu State. This is scary. While it's happening on the northern parts of the country and the numbers are alarmingly spiking, what's even more scary is the fact that it's getting closer home. You know how it is that sometimes we have these separatists, not separatists per se, but we alienate ourselves from realities that occur in some other parts of the country. Now it's too close home for comfort. Cholera, I would say, it has come to the point where it's an epidemic, right? And
That's not an epidemic.
you put different reasons for it. Some people say sanitary conditions, water conditions, and all that. But Divo, what are your thoughts on this new development?
Okay, I'm breathing slowly because this is a story that actually should have been number 1. It should be on the front pages of the newspaper.
Yeah.
And let's build this quietly. 7 people have died in Enugu State, okay, due to the cholera outbreak, all right? It's just an outbreak at this point. It's within a confined territory, which is why it's just an outbreak. If it gets to national level, then we'll call it an epidemic, yes. Now, 80 people have been identified with the symptoms, which is loose, what do you call it? Loose stool and vomiting, all right? Now, this is trying, the Ministry of Health in Enugu did say that they're working to see how they can contain it. And this was discovered at the new artisan market in Enugu State, all right? Now, how do I say this? What's the cause of the outbreak? The director from the Ministry of Health did say that it was due to poor hygiene practices, and particularly, this is where the truth comes out, improper disposal of domestic and human waste. We're talking about feces, excreta, that is not properly packaged or managed properly, and high consumption of untreated water in the area. Does that sound familiar? Okay. Now, consumption of untreated water, you're speaking of typhoid, you're speaking of dysentery, you're speaking of all forms of medical outbreaks that we should have dealt with by now. Now, cholera has been more or less taken care of in the world, and the few places that it exists are in Nigeria, Africa, some parts of Southeast Asia, Haiti. You're not surprised about this. Now, you're looking at our population, you're looking at our inability for proper waste management infrastructure, and then you get this outbreak
In 2021.
in 2021. It's a shame, and I say this to the Enugu state government, that this could happen, because cholera doesn't just start and break out; it's a build up.
Yeah.
So these practices have been there. What was the Minister of Health or Environment doing all this while for them to
Ministry of Water Resources.
get to this level?
Yeah.
It's not a ticking time bomb. It has already exploded, and Enugu's not the only place that has this condition. Even in Lagos, the largest black city in the world, has a few locations that have some of these signs. And what I expect is for government to move in before it gets bad. Now, I mean, how many people did we that died from COVID? Look at how many people within this short period of time cholera is taking out. We need to act fast. People need to wake up, especially where you don't have proper water provision, or you don't have proper waste provision. And it's been, I mean, if you travel around the country, you will see locations where there are no bathrooms. Of great memory, and I like to credit him for his innovation, was Otumba Gaddafi, of blessed memory, who introduced the mobile toilets. When he said, "Shit business, shit
On the
is
radio.
business." How did he put it?
Yes,
Yes.
it's serious business.
It's serious business.
Yes.
And I say that, sorry, family, but the truth is, we need to take serious waste management practices. People die from when you live in these poor, unsanitary conditions. It's all over.
Thank you, Divo. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Divo. We still have some more stories, so maintain that energy. I'd like to go on to lawyers
Pro
suing
bono.
Buhari, Malami, others over appointment. This is your own way of contributing to the greater good of the nation. So, lawyers under the auspices of FS Onifade and Associates have dragged President Muhammadu Buhari, Attorney General Abubakar Malami, and the Federal Character Commission to court, that's the FCC, to court over alleged lopsided appointment into the commission. So according to what they've said, the appointments are in violation of the principles of federal character as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So they said that they are challenging the appointment and continuous holding of office of the chairman of FCC itself, Muhiba Farida Dankaka, and the secretary, Mohammed Bello Tucker. Please take us to this story.
Well, this is one of the approaches that individuals can seek to get redress wherever they feel the federal government or their governments have robbed them of what is their rights. Now, the auspices of FS Onifade and Associates are okay. They are taking the government to book, and they've dragged the president as well as the Attorney General Malami and the Federal Character Commission to courts. Now, what are they saying? Lopsided appointments. And what they're specifically pointing out is the appointment, they're challenging the appointment and the continuous holding of office of the chairman of the FCC, Muhuda Farida Dankaka, and the secretary, Mohammed Bello Tukur. All right? Now, they said their appointment is a violation of the principles enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, let's play with words here, children. Okay? Isn't it an irony or a paradox? Go and find out what those two mean.
I know what they mean.
No, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to our listeners.
Okay.
That the Federal Character Commission, let me repeat myself, the Federal Character Commission lacks character. Oh my. The Federal Character Commission lacks character. Say that 7 times. The Federal Character Commission.
Divo,
The
Analyze
people,
the story.
I am analyzing.
Okay.
How is it that the body mandated with the duties of instituting federal character in our MDAs, that's ministries, departments, and agencies, lacks its own character? I mean, that's where you drop the mic.
All right.
But the
Let's
truth
move
is
on.
this.
So let's
This
drop the mic
no
there.
no no.
Let's move on to
So,
other stories.
so
We have
first,
some-
first you also have to recognize the fact that if somebody sues you, does not mean you're a criminal or that you're guilty.
Not
of the
until
charge.
proven.
Exactly. So I think it's a bit I mean it's overhanded really for you to say, oh yeah, they lack character just because somebody's suing them.
No, they do
beyond
lack
that.
character
Yeah,
because
they
they're
have-
not upholding it. That's the point of
the
of the
character.
suit. Okay?
Okay.
Now it's not new. Like I said, this is an approach to addressing some issues that we feel we've been robbed on. However, what I would say, this issue of lopsided appointments and nepotism has been muted regarding this administration. It's not today. This is just
So
one.
it's out of character.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is just one of the situations. Remember the security forces and all of that.
Yeah, thank you so much. Dr. I here says, hello Smooth, with the increased rains leading to flooding and lack of potable water and our top spots in open defecation, we can expect a surge in cholera and related diseases. Local governments are the easiest way to spread and enforce good hygiene practices, and they can help minimize deaths. State governments provide subsidized care for patients. Thank you, Dr. I,
Absolutely.
for providing that link between what's happening now, especially the floods that's going to increase
Yeah.
in September,
Yeah.
according to warnings
Yeah.
to this issue.
Excellent. Thank you. Diva, I'd like us to touch on these two stories before we go. So please make your analysis of each of them brief. I think let's even talk about the worsening food scarcity in Nigeria first. Before you want to talk about Kubana, I know that's what you want to talk about. Let's talk about
Man.
worsening food security first of all, and then we can jump quickly. We have time to Obi Kubana. Benue Senator raises alarm over worsening food security in Nigeria. So according to this news report in the Vanguard, the lawmaker representing Benue Northwest Senatorial District in the National Assembly, Senator Oke Jev, has raised the alarm over the worsening food scarcity. Yesterday, we spoke about the president speaking to this as well. He said it was things that were responsible were COVID,
Insecurity.
yes.
And then he mentions a COVID insecurity
Right, three
and one
things.
last one, yes. We'll
Anyways,
come to
The
well,
that.
health
so-
situation, the pandemic.
Yeah. So that's
That's
it.
COVID.
COVID.
Oh,
So,
sorry.
Yeah. So now
The economy.
talking about this, he's touched on security. He's really laid emphasis on security and how a number of Benue farmers have been displaced from their settlements. Please take us to the story.
No gainsaying here. It's straightforward. When you make your lands insecure, or when you have all these insecurity issues from day-to-day basis, the people suffer. And in this case, Benue, which is the breadbasket of the nation, farmers can't go to farm. They can't produce. Neither can those who even go to farms distribute. Remember, the governor has been on the news time after time, blasting the federal government of how the herders and the bandits have been ravaging Benue. I mean, it's there's no rocket science here.
Yeah.
If they can't farm, remember in the case in Bonu where rice farmers were slaughtered.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you have that condition, you're not going to get food at the end of the day. And it's not just Benue that's affected. The nation is affected as a whole. So apart from the celebrations of Salah, you've had high inflation for a long time simply because the supply chain has been drastically
Perfect.
damaged. Yes.
All right, thank you. So let's move on to the final story. Obi Kubana, police mom on arrest, prosecution of Naira abuses in the Punch. I know some people listening might not know what happened in Oba, Anambra State.
Really?
Yes, but let me tell you what happened. So Obi Kubana, who is the chairman of Kubana Group, and his real name Obi Iyegu, buried his mom in a style that a number of people have described as beyond grandiose. And in videos that have appeared on social media, there have been people abusing the naira in terms of from the definition of what is in from the constitution. However, what is important to note is that an assistant commissioner of police was there, Abakiari. No arrests have been made so far, despite the fact that there were obviously
The police
incidents.
poster boy was there, and the EFCC has said they will go after all those who, abuse the naira. It's wait to be seen what they do. But the truth is, this whole story about the Oba washing, okay? Is it about jealousy or is it about a moral concern? Okay? There's high debate over this, and it's kept on as to whether they're actually helping the youth of this nation or actually giving them the wrong signals. Or is it about entrepreneurship? Or is it really about the freedom of expression? Everyone is entitled to their own choice, okay? How you see this matter. What I'll tell you is this, okay? In the times of the internet and social media, everything that happens even when a man goes off with a side chick and gets murdered, it will all come out. So we need to be careful how we live our lives, knowing that every action that we take will be brought out in the media or in the public. To each his own.
Yeah.
To those who work hard, and in his statement from Obi, go and work hard.
Yeah.
Okay, go and work
Well,
hard.
interestingly, it's also worthy of note that the first day we're seeing all the spraying happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spraying. The next day, I started seeing that people were dropping money in the bundles. They were loosening it and spraying.
And
as
stepping,
was
they were,
the first day.
they were literally stepping.
Yeah,
on the
I
naira.
think
That
people.
was the first time.
I think
The
that
first
was
time.
that was what blew people's minds. But what I would say is this: spraying has been a part of Nigerian culture for donkey years, even as much as CBN and the law
But
authorities.
abusing the naira should-
Yes,
shouldn't
no,
be.
that's what I'm saying. It's been a tough call for government to be able to stem this. It didn't start with Obi Kubana, and it's not going to end with him.
Yeah.
However, if we do what is required to build our nation so that there's what they call equality of economy,
And consequence.
everybody has something at the end of the day, you would hardly see these practices anymore.
Yeah.
Because everybody would have something to be able to boast of, and our boast would not be in monetary terms. It
Yeah.
would be in virtues, in values, how we've been able to build society.
And adherence to consequences and enforcement of
Yes,
consequences.
a justice system where you actually find justice.
That's right.
All right,
Baka
just
de
to
Sala.
mention, and thank you very much, Tayo. It's actually according to section 21 of the CBN Act of 2007, and not Constitution. Thank
Which is
you.
To the plot question.
As to the abuse
Spraying.
of the naira,
Thank
yeah,
you.
spraying. All right, we'll take this conversation further during Lagos Talks 91, which is coming up in 8 minutes. So do stay tuned. Thank you very much for being a part of the show, Divo Corey, and to all our listeners who sent in
Where's
comments.
the meat?
This is two notes from Page
Meat,
Financial.
meat.
Page
People don't have